There's a lot of excitement for a local hockey arena. The Dodge County Ice Arena was awarded a grant for upgrades to their new facility. Carson Forsman spent the day there and has our story.
For many families in Minnesota, the hockey rink, is their second home. Parents spend much of their time right here watching their kids play, and for the kids, putting in the work to become a better hockey player. And the one I'm sitting in right now just got some big bucks to make sure the rink is up to par for the kids to play.
We have worked really hard. A lot of people have worked really hard for a lot of years, including the kids, to develop this program.
There's a lot of excitement in the Dodge County area. The hockey arena is getting a $100,000 award from the Minnesota Amateur Sports Commission.
Down here, our pool of potential big contributors is somewhat limited.
Joe Wieners is a coach for the girls hockey team. He says the rink received a similar grant back in the 90s to help fund the building project.
You know, it's always been sort of my goal to make hockey down in this part of southeastern Minnesota a little bit like what I observed about hockey up in the Iron Range, where it was a huge part of the hockey culture.
It's going to assist with a capital improvement to the facility.
Steve Howarth works for the city and says the grant will be used for a new dehumidification system.
And it dries the air inside the facility, helps you achieve a dew point, or the correct dew point, so you don't have condensation on your roof.
It really goes back to just having the numbers of kids that are interested and having them work hard, which they do, and having support from the parents, which we've had.
And rink officials say they will start work come this spring. In Carson Forsman, ABC 6 News.
And to talk more about the hockey program in the Kasson-Manorville School District, which also includes a lot of other districts, is Coach Joe Wieners. And Coach, this is some pretty big news for today. We're happy to hear about this grant, but I really wanted to have you in and talk about the hockey program in and of itself, because it is really unique what's happening out in Dodge County.
Right. Well, this has been part of a long-term process, really. We didn't really start the girls program until about a dozen years ago, and that was certainly, I think, out of necessity, because we saw that kids who had not come up through a program were not able to compete on a relatively equal basis with kids who had come through a program. And so while the enthusiasm was there and the kids were having fun, they weren't being very successful on the ice, and the fear was that they'd lose interest after a while. So we had to develop a good youth program, and we began doing that about a dozen years ago. And so that was sort of the start of, I think, bringing the Dodge County program along.
With that said, though, the uniqueness about it being that there are other school districts, kids from a lot of different schools who come to Dodge County just for this team. It's
Right.
one team.
Right. Yeah, so, and a lot of those kids that have come to Dodge County were not part of our youth program, but because of a lack of opportunity other places, they came to Dodge County. For example, we've got a couple kids from Dover, Yoda, traveling 80 miles round trip to play hockey with us because they had no home in, for example, Winona, which would have been a little closer, or Rochester, which would have been obviously closer. They're driving by Rochester to come play for us. So, you know,
what's the draw? What brings them all the way out to Kasson and the rink there?
Well, first of all, I guess it's the fact that we were accepting of them. We needed the players. Frankly, we need the players. But, you know, I felt like part of our promise with the Mighty Ducks grant money that we got way back 20 years ago was that we were going to build up a good girls program. And, you know, if that meant bringing in kids from other districts, we were certainly willing to do that. We wanted to give kids this opportunity to play. And, you know, if their closer school districts weren't willing or able to do that, we were happy to do it.
What keeps you doing this? I mean, personally, you've been with it since its inception, and having to deal with athletes, scheduling, but something I know real well, parents, over all these years, why do you stay?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, you mentioned the parents part of it, and there's usually horror stories about that, but in our case, that hasn't been a problem at all. We've been, I think, extremely lucky with the parents that we've had of the girls that have been in our program. They've been so cooperative, so supportive of their children, and willing to do the work. I mean, there's a lot of work involved because among other things, we are not fully supported by the school in terms of the costs of the program.
Right.
We have to pay for our own ice, and that's about $20,000 a year. So, you know, we have all kinds of different fundraisers and other ways of accomplishing that, but it requires the parents to be on board and committed, and they have been.
And this grant is really going to help out as well. Coach Joe, I think you're kind of humble as well, because even though I don't personally know a lot about the hockey program, I've heard your name plenty of times, and you might be a reason that draws some of these kids too.
Well, I hope that's the case. I mean, for me, it's a sort of a labor of love.
Well, they appreciate you. I appreciate you coming in. Coach Joe, we appreciate that. And tomorrow, our Shields game of the week, powered by Rochester Motor Cars. By the way, it returns, and it will feature the Dodge County girls hockey as they host Holy Family Catholic. Game time is at 7 o'clock. It is in Casson at the Dodge County Ice Arena. And just like the fall, our very own Gina Ratz will be there with free Shields giveaways for all the fans.